28 years later, the Bone Temple, fires off its load this week. Will it be a hard-on success or a limp flop at the box office? We'll find out this week. First, let's have a quickie over that trailer, and then we'll oil up over some plot points. So naturally, we open up with the Bone Temple, and it's quite an impressive visual of bones and skulls. So it's kind of sick in a sickening way. Okay, so we're thrown straight back in time with the train. The same train, I believe, that we saw in the first movie, 28 years later. Present day Bone Temple. Obviously, this Bone Temple is going to feature a lot in this movie. So now we're back in the Doctor's crib, I guess. He has his old Doctor books, old photos on the wall of a world long gone. And he's playing a movie. Old memories, maybe? Or is he reviewing the outbreak? Cuts back to the Doctor, breaking down emotionally. Obviously, it would be quite upsetting going from a normal life to this hellhole of existence. We cut back to the Doctor standing in the field with the Bone Temple behind him, and he's holding his Brodart weapon again. Oh, hello there, Alpha Strong Dong. Looks like we got ourselves a standoff. Speaking of that, the Alpha must have a little bit of intelligence, as it appears to be holding off due to knowing that the Doctor's armed with some kind of mutual respect. Maybe there's some deeper meaning, or maybe it's a standoff, I don't know. Okay, so we got a close-up of the Doctor, but he clearly just darted the Alpha again, and it's not clear that this is the next scene, but it could be a different scene cut. But the Doctor is attempting to touch the Alpha, which is risky to say the least. I personally wouldn't go anywhere near that brute. Oh look, wildlife on mainland Britain. Okay, so who is this with the bow? We got a bunch of fast-moving infected. Not really looking too threatening, in my opinion. I don't know, they just feel a bit off to me. Right, so here's the Jimmy gang putting on their masks. I'm curious to why they're all so young, and Jimmy, of course, is quite old, so it's quite interesting how that works. Like, well, the kids' parents, does he kidnap the kids? Is he sort of indoctrinated the kids? I don't know. Looks like we have a bunch of normies, regular people, hung up. I have to say, they look all very clean and certainly don't appear like they've been living in isolated Britain. They almost look like captures of mainland Europe, but I doubt that. Well, look in here, yobs of Britain. You'll find these in most towns and cities. So we have 16s, tracksuits, masked up, wearing the blonde wigs ready to cause serious crimes. Yeah, that totally sounds like modern Britain to me. Anyway, we've got Jim's gang torturing people for sure. So these are going to be portrayed as the real monsters of the movie. And if you can believe it, be more feared than the actual infected, who I'm pretty sure get taken a back seat in the Bone Temple, with Jimmy's gang being the real villains of the movie. Okay, so we're in a house. Jimmy's lads are having a good laugh, eating at a table, having a jolly good time by the looks of it. And I bet at the expense of the family they just intruded upon. Possibly the same group of people we saw getting tortured in the barn earlier. A few oddities, though, stand out to me here. Okay, so with all the laughing and casual eating at the table, you'd think you'd want to be as quiet as possible in a country infested with infected zombies. What is there to laugh about? What could be so happy in this demised world they're living in? Also, looking at their clothing, looking at the plates and the surroundings, it doesn't look like a country that's been abandoned for decades. They look like they're living inside a 5-star hotel. Like, they just don't look like they're sort of living off the land. They just seem a bit too luxury compared to what you would expect. I'm guessing too that they must have like access to a warehouse or something with lifetime supply of jackets and clothing. I don't know, just compare it to how the mother was living in 28 Weeks Later. Like, she had like a dark house and she had like tins of cans everywhere. The place was a mess. She was a mess. Like, it looks like two separate worlds here. With the Jimmies sort of casually dining in that sort of house, maybe the infected are just rare now. But if that's the case, then if the infected are pretty rare, then why hasn't a country been retaken and repopulated from the mainland? Now we're back to the doctor again, burning something. Burning what? Surely there's nothing else to burn or no one else to burn? It's been years since the outbreak. Okay, so we got a member of the Jimmy gang. The kid in red looks to be spying upon the doctor's activities with a aura of shock and wonder on his face. Looks like the kid has a few scars on his face. We can see some markings, including what looks like a Antichrist cross on his forehead. So this is believed to be the base camp of the Jimmy gang. Looks to be outside of a town with plenty of green space, so I guess it's an ideal location to see any incoming intruders, such as the infected. I'm assuming that smoke in the distance is the doctor's fire. Again, you'd think that would attract the infected. Right, so we've got a nice shot of the Jimmy gang walking through the Bone Temple, which I have to say does look awesome at night time and very creepy. Again, I just want to make a quick point about the stupidity of walking around at night in the dark with nothing but flame torches. Like, you'd think that would attract the infected. At the very least, it would make it very difficult for you to see anything or see the infected. You could also get easily lost inside that maze temple. The infected could easily sneak up on you and attack you inside that maze. Nothing really here makes sense, other than the fact that it makes for a cool shot. Oh look, there's Jimmy, smirking like a creep. Yeah, he looks evil to me. Maybe he's just happy to be at the Bone Temple. Oh look, some guy in the woods. He's dropped his bow and arrow. That's not a good sign. And he's about to be taken out by the Alpha. Probably got distracted by the dong. I'm guessing this is the barn that we saw earlier, where those people were getting tortured. Now, of course, it's lit on fire, so obviously there was some form of fight breakout between the family, Jimmy, maybe even Spike. Oh look, we've got 3 people running away. I'm guessing these were some of the survivors from the house or that barn. Here's the Alpha's dong again. Again, honestly, the Alpha doesn't even look that scary to me. He just looks like he's smiling. It doesn't even look like a snarl or like a sort of animal that wants to attack. He just looks sort of happy. Ah, Spike. I bet he wishes he stayed on that island. What have you gotten yourself caught up into? I don't know about you, but what kind of psychopath just casually walks up to a charging infected zombie and casually draws a knife like that? This ain't no video game, kid. And what happened to the fear of the infected blood? Surely using a knife is the worst weapon against the infected, because you're getting too close to the infected, they're too rampant and unpredictable. And of course the blood could get on you and you could get infected. I'd imagine it'd be far smarter to keep the infected at a distance. I guess this kid is a psychopath. Ah, here's the mystery couple again. Spike with his bow, but whom is he aiming at? Many think he's turning on the Jimmy gang, which I think is fair to say will happen. Oh, this definitely looks like a worshipping face to me. Ah, that guy running behind the couple earlier looks to have finally got infected. Looks like another flashback of the train, and of course a massacre occurred there by the looks of it. That's a lot of bodies. Well, Spike looks scared and doesn't look to have the wig on yet, so I'm guessing this is near the start of the movie. And this might be some kind of initiation game. When I say game, I mean human sport, hunting with the added threat of the infected. So almost like the Hunger Games in a way, but with the infected as a extra contestant. Here's our Alpha Strong Dong again. And again, he just looks gross for sure. It's like somebody just told him a joke and now he's smiling and being all happy. It's not the face of hate, anger or aggression. It's almost like happy insanity. So that was our psycho new face Jimmy kid again. This time he's got Spike on the floor with a knife against his mouth. Again, no wig. I wonder if Spike escaped the Jimmy gang and this new psycho kid in red is out there hunting down Spike, maybe trying to bring him back to Jimmy's. Okay, this is certainly very demonic looking, and I'm pretty sure that is our doctor. I'm guessing Jimmy views the doctor as Satan, maybe? He does make a reference to Satan in another trailer, so maybe the Doctor is like Satan in Jimmy's mind. Maybe he worships the Doctor in the Bone Temple. Well, that was the main trailer. Next, we're going to dive into a few more plot points about the film, but first, if you could be so kind as to hit the like button and consider subscribing for more. And don't forget to let me know in the comments if you think this film is going to be a limp flop or a hard-on success. Right, onto some plot points. The first film, 28 years later, was a massive letdown for me. That said, I've got a gut feeling The Bone Temple might be a more watchable movie, but not in the way you might expect. I don't think it'll focus heavily on the infected. Instead, it looks like the story will revolve around the human characters Spike, Jimmy, and the Doctor. The infected will mostly hang in the background, popping up to stir things up and add a bit more stakes to the drama. Okay, so from the trailer we did see a flashback to the train from the first movie and what looked like an infected outbreak. Some people think our big alpha infected zombie may have origins on this train, hence the reason he dangles, no pun intended, around it. But that's pure speculation. Anyhow, I think we'll see a few flashbacks in this sequel, and in my view, these might be the real highlights, teasing the kind of movie we'd much rather have seen, while we actually get a human drama set in infected Britain. I think the infected take a back seat in this movie. That was already the case in 28 Years Later, which clearly wasn't the zombie film many of us expected or wanted. They'll show up when the plot needs them to, and when they do, they'll add some extra stakes to the action. I think The Bone Temple is more about the people. Spike, the couple in the house, the Jimmies, and the Doctor trying to understand the infection, maybe even cure it, if that's still possible. And honestly, that might work. This feels more like an intense drama than a straight-up zombie action flick, with the Jimmies ending up worse than the infection itself. Previously, the Doctor says there are worse things to fear than the infected, and he's right. I think we're going to see a lot of action and drama from the Jimmy gang in this film, raiding homes, terrorizing families, killing the infected for fun, as opposed to out of fear. Possibly a confrontation with the Doctor, who Jimmy refers to as Satan. I think we'll get some genuinely unsettling insight into how this gang operates, how they survive, and how far they've pushed things with no law to keep them in check. The Jimmy gang are free to rain terror on mainland Britain that makes Jimmy gang more dangerous than the infected themselves. There's speculation that Spike might turn on the Jimmy's attempt to escape Jimmy's grasp. I think the red shirt Jimmy will be sent to go after Spike, to hunt him down, to bring him back to the Jimmy gang, but not to rejoin, to be punished. My guess is Spike ends up convincing his hunter to leave the Jimmies and even escape the mainland altogether and head for Europe with some other survivors. As for Jimmy himself, the leader, if he really is inspired by Savile, then there's only one ending that feels right. He deserves a brutal, unflinching, gruesome demise. Anything less would feel dishonest, considering the real-world monster he's clearly echoing. So, what's Spike's plan now? We left him on his own, and he was found by the Jimmies. I'm guessing he quickly regrets that, and probably plans to make his way back to the Doctor for help. I don't think he's going back to the island where he grew up. It feels more like an I've been there, done that, now I want to explore the mainland kind of thing. As I mentioned earlier, I think Spike will fight his way out of the Jimmies and try to escape with the couple from the house, maybe back to the Doctor, or maybe now that his mother has passed, he'll take the knowledge he learned from the soldier in the previous film and try to help them escape Britain altogether. Maybe even make it to mainland Europe. That would make sense, and I don't see why he'd want to stay on a dangerous infected island with both the virus and the brutality of the Jimmies. I don't think Spike has much investment with the Doctor either. He doesn't know the Doctor or know anyone that is infected, so why stay when he could try and leave the country? What do you think? Will he stay and try to cure the infected, even though he has no real motivation for it? Or will he live out his youth, exploring and surviving on the mainland forever, looking over his shoulder for infected or barbaric Jimmies? I think he'll make a break for it and leave for France. I imagine his story might end with him standing on a French beach or a cliff, looking at the wonders of the modern world, his new world, and then the credits roll. The trailers suggest the Doctor is trying to save the Alpha, or, as some speculate, experimenting on it, maybe even having a hand in creating it. Honestly, I'd say those are wild theories that probably won't come true. What we do know is that he's interacting with the Alpha, and for reasons unknown, doesn't just take it out. You'd think he would. The Alpha could easily tear him apart, and I'm sure the Doctor would sleep more soundly, knowing the Alpha was no more. So maybe some of those wild speculations are partially true. Then there's the plot gaps, like how on earth is the Doctor surviving out on the mainland for all these years? Days, weeks, months? It doesn't make much sense. You'd think living like that would be terrifyingly short-lived. I don't expect the movie to explain it. It's more a just accept it bro situation. Maybe the infected are scared of the bones. If the Doctor does somehow manage to create a cure, it would almost mirror the movie I Am Legend, but with one big difference. In I Am Legend, Will Smith's character had a fully equipped private lab, a secure safe house, and the expertise to back it up. He was already working on a cure before his world collapsed. Our Doctor, in 28 years later, doesn't have any of that. No lab, no resources, just a shack and a bone temple. So I just don't buy the idea that he's suddenly going to cure an infection that's been running unchecked for decades. If somehow he did create a cure, it would change everything. Suddenly the infected aren't just monsters, they're humans. We want to save, maybe even from the Jimmies, who hunt the infected for fun and want to exterminate them and anyone who stands in their way. For a cure to the infection to land emotionally, we'd need investment in the infected as characters, someone we care about who is suffering, and ideally their suffering story would arch across multiple films, finally being saved by the Doctor in, say, Part 3. I don't think we'll get that kind of story arch, but we might get something similar with the Alpha. But right now, I'm not that invested in the Alpha character. All we know is that the Doctor has a theory and believes a cure is possible. Beyond that, we'll have to wait and see. The Bone Temple lands this week, and despite not liking the first film, 28 years later, I do think this sequel has a chance to redeem the series, or at least stand on its own. I'm still torn on whether I'll boycott the movie, or if curiosity will win out. What about you? Are you going to see it? Did the first film disappoint you too, or are you still invested in the series? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe for more movie rants. Oh look, Spike looks like Jim from the first 28 Days Later movie. He has a similar buzzcut, haircut, and tracksuit top. Yep, that is intentional. It's called an Easter egg. Spike looks piss scared. How is this kid even surviving out there?